Today, we're going to talk about mid year reset, building a financial plan on faith, not fear. And I just wanted to say that everything that I'm going to share today is for encouragement and education, not financial or spiritual advice. Always consult professionals for your personal needs.
Hello, and welcome to the Unpacked and Empowered Plus Finances podcast, a space where we dive into personal growth, financial empowerment, and real stories from fellow newcomers navigating life in Canada. This podcast is your go to for self improvement tips, financial literacy, and authentic conversations with inspiring individuals, whether they're building businesses, managing careers, or sharing their expert insights to uplift our communities.
Before I say what I have to say in today's episode, I just want to take a moment to appreciate you for being here. I'm really glad that you're being on this journey with me. It helps me a lot. And if at any episode you were guided well and you found value in this podcast, I would appreciate if you would like, subscribe, and share it to your friends, as that's how we reach more people in this area of life, finances and empowerment. So let's get on. In today's episode, it's going to be about mid year reset. It's building a financial plan on faith and not fear. So, when I was thinking about what episode to post in the coming weeks, I was focusing on researching on what are the different financial security order, or some of the podcasts that I would listen to say it's the financial order of operations. In my work, we call it the financial security pyramid. But I had this prompting in me that there is something missing from all the research that I've seen. They are the most reliable websites, companies that are very good at doing very well in the insurance and financial space. But nothing in there reminded me of what our firm foundation is. And I think this is a good space for me as well to share what I have to say when it comes to having really a firm foundation. And so before we proceed, I just wanted to say that I'm not a theologian. I am not a Bible expert, but I'm someone who tries to live out my faith in all areas of my life, and that's including finances. And I hope that what we're going to discuss today empowers you as well as you go through a change in your life, as you go through something that you're going through, whether it's finances or just living in a new country, or starting out a new family even. So I hope this helps you at all. So the first thing that I want to discuss is knowing what our real foundation is. So what is the real foundation? And I want to read some verses from Matthew 6:19 to 21. Do not store up riches for yourselves here on earth, where moths and rust destroy, and robbers break in and steal. Instead, store up riches for yourselves in heaven, where moths and rust cannot destroy, and robbers cannot break in and steal. For your heart will always be where your riches are. And I really also like what it says on the NLT version, where it says, wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. Every time I think about finances, it reminds me of this verse, which is, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So, what is the real foundation? Before we even talk about budgeting and saving or investing, we need to really look within ourselves, like, what's the real deal? What do we need to save for? What do we need to budget for? And of course, there are those people that surround us, the people that we love, our family. But deep inside, what is the root of caring even for the family that we love, right? And that is because we know how to love. And of course, we love because God loves us as well. And that's why we know how to love and care for our families and our loved ones. And earthly treasure is uncertain, but God is the only unshakable foundation. I also want to talk about what is faith based stewardship. But even before we discuss that, I want to share with you what stewardship is, if that's not something that you hear very often. So, stewardship is about managing, not owning what God has entrusted. It's about tr- it's about believing that everything that you own came from God. So, yes, there are insurances, there are savings, those are wise things, and they are tools, and these are one of the best tools that we use to show our love for our family or the people that we care about. And stewardship, like I said, is recognizing that everything that you have is from God, using them with wisdom, integrity, and purpose, and also being faithful in both small and big responsibilities. It's acknowledging that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it is His as well. That's from Psalm 24:1. So, what are we stewards of? We have different resources, and how do we steward it? So, first, we have the resource of time. And how do we use it? How do we steward it? It's by prioritizing what matters and not wasting it. We had a discussion in our small group last week about the tyranny of the urgent, and I think it's a really good topic to discuss, maybe on a different episode. But that's how basically, how do we steward our time that we have been given by God? And the second resource is money, which mostly is the topic of this podcast overall. So money, what do we do about it? So how do we do our spending plan? Because really the spending plan, not really budgeting. Saving, how do we save? How do we give? How much do we give? And are we even planning for all those things? No, the third resource is our talents and skills. So when it comes to talents, how are we using it? How are we using our abilities to serve others or to serve what God's purpose is for us in our lives? How do we use our talents from God? How do we use the gifts that we received from Him? And fourth, we have we are stewards of health as well. How do we, because this body has been given to us by God. So, how do we take care of our body? How do we take care of our mind? What are the things that we do to feed it? And lastly, we're also stewards of relationships. So, investing in people and knowing how to love them and giving grace to the people that are around us as well. So, why do we even have to think about these things? Why does it matter? It is not how much you have, but about how faithfully you manage what you have. Stewardship is an act of worship and obedience, showing God you trust Him enough to manage things His way. And if I can give you some tangible examples of saving for emergencies, how do we approach that? How do we know that it's faith based and not fear based? So, saving for emergencies is not really being fear based because we are preparing instead of panicking. Because when we're not prepared, that's the time that we're actually experiencing the fear because we panic when emergencies happen. And then one more example, I know it links to my line of work. So it's life insurance, protecting what God entrusted you. So God entrusted us with our family. God entrusted us to raise our kids, to feed them, to nurture them. And if we're not in the, if we're no longer in the scenario, who's going to do those things for them? Of course, God provides for us, but God also gives us the wisdom and tools so that we know how to manage what He has given to us. So um, just like the story in the Bible where a master gave coins or silvers to his servants and expected them to invest it. The two of them invested it, but one just kept it. So which one are you gonna be? Are you gonna be the servant who knows how to manage what God has given you? Or are you going to be the servant who's just going to wait and let things happen? Another example is how do you give? So, giving is an act of worship. It's not really being pressured how much you should put, how much you should give into the church, but it's really a heart issue. The giving that comes from the heart is really what matters, not giving because this is what I'm expected to do. This is what um, some rule is saying that I need to do. as you practice giving, as you practice donating to the people who need it, your heart's gonna be well exercised to do it as well, and it's gonna come from your heart. Um, and then the third point that I want to share in this podcast is also we are on we're almost halfway of the year. So why don't we use this time to do a mid-year reset? Because it's never too late. So we're halfway through the year, but God's timeline isn't limited to calendars. What goal did you set that you haven't reached yet? So I just want to give you hope as well that it is okay to pivot. It's okay to reset. If you've set a goal early in the year that you're going to achieve this for your finances, if you're going to save, say, let's say you said, okay, I'm going to save $50 every paycheck, or I'm going to save $100 every paycheck. But then for some reason, things happen and you fail to do that. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to reset. It's okay to restart your financial finish line, is what I would say. So anchor your goals again in prayer and purpose. Always lift your goals to God. Pray for it. And what are the action steps that we need to take? So, first action step is to revisit your goals. Check within your heart if it's fear based or faith based. And second, pray over your finances again. And lastly, take one step this week. So maybe that could be rechecking your budget, booking a financial review, or talking to your spouse, or have a finance meeting with God. So share to God whatever it is that you're thinking about when it comes to handling your resources. And my key takeaway is faith should not be separate from your finances because it is the foundation of how you handle them. Here, hey, if you're someone who's considering rebuilding your financial goals and you need someone to do it with, book a chat with me and I will guide you through. Or you can reach out to any financial advisor or life insurance agent or the bank if that's how you prefer it. Just reach out to someone who has the knowledge, who has studied for it, because they'll be able to help you as well. So if this episode helped you today, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who are trying to rebuild financially and spiritually. As we end, I want to thank God for our financial foundation and help us to honor God in every financial decision that we're going to make. Thank you and have a great day.